Diaz Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking smack at it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. As you can tell in a menudo style and direct fashion by that thumbnail, man, I've been bringing you guys a little bit of different content every day lately. And this one is about someone who was well known in DF, in Mexico City, right? Somebody who was basically out there murking everybody in sight. And when I say everybody, I mean the elderly, man. So this woman is not to be praised. This woman is not to be condoned. This woman is basura. This woman is simply trash. But you have to understand that at the end of the day, there's reasonings behind everyone's mentality, mindset, and reasons why they do things. These are her reasons. I'm going to tell the story, and let's do it like that. So the woman's name is Juana Barraza, right? And the name strikes fear into a lot of people in DF, Mexico City, right? DF is probably the most populated city in Mexico, the biggest city, right? And the reason her name strikes fear is it was going on for several years. Killings were going on, you know? This was a very big case that was taking place in Mexico at that time. And one Juana Barraza was behind all the shit, right? She was making it happen, Captain Crunch. She was the one that was doing it. Now, you need to understand that in Mexico, whatever happens in Mexico stays in Mexico, right? Not a lot of things affect over here, affect what we got going on. But you got to understand when a Latino person is involved in doing it, man, it piques my interest. It piques my attention, Holmes. And I want to speak on it. I want to say my 2 cents. I want to give my specific fucking ideas into what I think was going on here. So let's tell the story of one Mata Viejitas, right? The little old lady killer, or basically her name was Juana Barraza. Now, Juana Barraza was born in Mexico City, right? And she was born to a mother who was a prostituta. A prostitute was out there selling her body for whatever she got, and was also an alcoholic. Her father, right, happened to be a good guy. But what had happened was 3 months after she was born, her mother left her father for her own stepfather. Yeah, the wind was blowing that way, and so she decided to go that way and started to date her own stepfather. And of course, her stepfather started to abuse her daughter, for which she didn't care because she was always inebriated, alcoholed out. So I can't call her like an alcoholic. And that's what was going on. It's never a laughing matter or a funny situation, but this is in fact what was going on. So what happened was at about the age of 12, her mother decided that for no other reason, she should start slanging her daughter. She started selling her daughter to men. And one of the most notoriously known stories in that situation was that her mother basically traded her to another man for 3 beers. Okay, now imagine that. You're a young kid, 12 years old, man. Your mother's all you have. And she actually trades you for 12 beers. Sasuke, 12 fucking dusty, musty. They didn't even taste that good. They were flat beers. But this is how it went down. And so Mata Viejitas had some rage against her mother. You know, but who could she lash out at? You know, so as she grew up, she started to get impregnated, started to have children, and many men abused her. Through her whole life, she had a very rough life. Now, this is no excuse to go out and do what she did, but these are the reasons behind why her mind state was so fucked up and all jacked up and messed up. So the Hyena decided that for no other reason, when she got older, she should try to go her own route and do her own thing. And why she is very, very famous is everybody knows that in Mexico, there's things called lucha libre, right? The lucha libre is wrestling, professional wrestling. She's always had a very big physical physique, right? She was always real muscular, broad in the shoulders. She just was born that way. So I can't call it. Maybe her daddy was her mother and her mother was her daddy. We don't know. But at the end of the day, this is the appearance she gave off. So she quickly got into the wrestling scene. And she became a very famous professional wrestler, a champion known as the Lady of Silence. You know, a name that she came up with because she had a very shy attitude. She was very quiet. She didn't want everyone to know her business, and she wasn't wanting to know everybody else's business. But as we all know, in Mexico, in the Latino culture, man, it's a country that doesn't have a lot of feria. You know, very hardworking people, very prideful people, our people. But at the end of the day, man, there's not enough feria to go around. And she wasn't making a lot. You know, and being from the streets and coming from a cutthroat mother like she had, her mother had already passed away. She knew nothing else but to go out there and start being a robber, going out there and robbing people, breaking into homes, doing this. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing, and I'm not saying she couldn't have got up and took her ass to Taco Bell and ran for the border and made it happen. But at the end of the day, this is what she chose to be and chose to do. So she got a fucking friend, okay, one of her friends, and they decided that for no other reason they should start breaking into elderly ladies' homes, because elderly ladies were basically looked like victims. They were easy. So these two hyenas dressed like nurses and started to break into these homes, wiggle their way in, and steal things. Of course, her homegirl was dating a fucking dirty fed at that time, and he felt that for no other reason he should press up on Juana Barraza to get her, to extort her for her half. You know what I mean? So it's good. I'm good. We got ours. So let's get, now let's go get hers. Right? And that's how he started to do it. So this woman, being shitted on her whole life, continued to get shit on, even in crime. She was just going out there trying to hit an honest lick. Of course, not too honest, because she was pinpointing and victimizing the older people. But at the same time, this is what she was choosing to do. And this vato was taking what little she had so she couldn't feed her kids. Okay. Around the same time that this was going on, she lost one of her oldest son to gang violence. So her mind was all over the place. You know, so she started to feel like, you know what, the world was against her. It's time for me to go against the world. And she wanted to lash out at her mother, who had already passed away. So she started to dress like a nurse and go into old ladies' homes and victimize and strangle old ladies. This is what she did. She has over 49 confirmed bodies, or despensa en la tira. So she says, right? And the world knows this. She was convicted in, I believe it was 2008 or 2009, if I'm correct, of 17 bodies and 11 more attempted. Okay, this bata was out there trying to kill people, right? And she was doing it. She was strangling these women. When asked about it, she showed no remorse, no emotion. The only thing that came out of her mouth was that she pictured her mother and she didn't like their snobbish attitudes, and so she got rid of them. Of course, a lot of the instruments she used were things that were laying around the house. You know, she would use telephone cords and such, whatever she can get her hands on. And this is what she utilized to kill these people. And they were older women, 92 years old, I think was the oldest. Her first victim was 82. She had something about older women. Like I said, she projected her mother into them, and that was her reasoning behind it. Now, of course, this was a very big case in DF, in Mexico City, because nobody knew who was doing this, you know, and it got the notorious serial killer name El Mata Viejitas, right? The reason they said El, which usually means a man, was the descriptions that they were getting from witnesses. What this was a very broad-shouldered person that they thought was actually trying to impersonate a woman, right? For a time being there, they didn't know if it was a woman or a man or a tranny. They thought it could possibly be a man that was on the other side, and in that fashion, right? They didn't know. They weren't quite sure. All they knew is that these older, elderly women were coming up short. They were coming up dead, and somebody was out there doing it. Now, eventually, over time, she was caught. She was apprehended. You know, she did a little too much. She slipped up, and she got apprehended. And it blew everyone's mind, you know, to see that it was actually a woman that was doing this. You know, a woman that was well known in Mexico, because like I said, she had been a professional wrestler. She had that career. People knew her as the Lady of Silence. And they never seen this coming. They interviewed a lot of her homegirls, a lot of her friends, a lot of the people that knew her. And they always said she was very shy, didn't tell too much people her business. They couldn't see this coming. But then there was other people that said, so Scott, I knew it. That bitch right there, right? That bitch didn't like old people, right? And it's a trick, you know, especially in the Latino community, Mexicanos. That's traditionally not our stilo. That's traditionally not their stilo. That's traditionally not a Mexicano's way or a Chicano's way to go out there and kill elderly people. We always have the projection, always have the mind state to protect our own and to protect our elderly people. But like I said, this woman's mind was twisted. It wasn't all the way right. You know, it wasn't all the way there. She decided that for no other reason, these women were like her mother, you know? And you never know what's going through the person's mind. And that's why I say keep your awareness up on what's going on around you. The person could be so scared, watch out, it's Brett the Hitman Heart. But late night, that motherfucker's ripping out people's hearts. You don't know who's doing what and what they're doing, you know? And I just thought I'd bring this to you guys because it's another case of a Latino gone wild, right? But also at the same time, it's another thing that plays into our history. Of course, she was convicted and she was actually given 759 years, which is the largest sentence for any Mexicano in Mexicano history. Okay? That's how serious this was. That's how serious the authorities felt about this case. You know, of course, there's no capital punishment, so they didn't do any of that. She didn't go that route. But 759 years, she's eligible for parole. She's eligible for parole in the year 2058 when she's 100 years old. So it's good. We'll see if she makes it. You know what I mean? We'll see if they give her a 10, 5, or a 15 and shoot her ass down. You never know. But in any case, she has never showed remorse. She has told her story to reporters and people on several occasions, and she has no remorse. When they asked her, hey, do you think you should have done something different? She said, yeah, I got caught, right? She wasn't tripping. She didn't look at these women as human beings or as people, as viejitas. And that's why she got her name, Mata Viejitas. She didn't trip on what they were going through and what their families were going through. And this affected a lot of familias. This affected a lot of people. And it continues to every day. People have to live with their mother, their grandmother, their sister, their brother, whatever was taken from them by a woman who wasn't all there, and no one helped. Now that leads into mental health issues. You know, there's a lot of people out there with mental health issues that just get no help. And the reason is most people are too busy worrying about their own fucking shit to worry about what's going on with some hyena with short ass hair that looks like a dude, right? No one ain't tripping. If anything, they're like, stay over there. There's a stigma there. I don't want no man. I don't want no part of that. Sasuke, you do it. Do it pushing. Menudo, right? They don't want to deal with that. But then there are people like me and several other people, man, that awareness is up. And if we see something funny, man, we're thinking of ways we could detour that. You know, we're trying to help gente, not bring them down. But in any case, man, sometimes you just could only do what you can do. Okay, but I thought this was just it was a horrible case. It was a big case. And not a lot of people know about it. It's time to bring awareness up. See, we always talk, and yesterday I did a spill about the most prolific serial killer in Tulare County history, you know, one El Mano Negra. And that author right there was seriously about his business. And I got a whole bunch of twisted reviews, a whole bunch of twisted comments, and a whole bunch of different comments. Some people are for him because they felt he was just righteously taking out trash. And some people said, man, he's a psychopath in a real way, and he don't deserve nothing. And whatever he's got coming, he deserves that. And at the end of the day, man, I don't know how I feel about the situation. I know that you're never supposed to go out there and hurt people and hit people and all that. But at the end of the day, some of these people that he was doing this to, if the wind's blowing that way, handle it, right? I wasn't tripping just based on me and him got kind of the same ways of thinking in certain areas, you know? And I like the way he stood strong in his morals and his beliefs, whether they were good or bad. The fact is, man, and the fact remains that the Vato stood solid 10 toes down for what he truly believed in, which was hitting people, basically hitting basura, people he believed that shouldn't be here anyways, you know, and I have to kind of agree on that one, on certain aspects of it. Now, as far as Mata Viejitas, I totally disagree with what she had going on. She was taking advantage of victims and making victims out of people that couldn't fight back. She was a big hyena, big breast, bigger than me. You know what I mean? She had big old shoulders, very broad. Like I said, she was a professional wrestler at one time. So she would go in there and she would strangle these women. And there was many cases where not only strangulation was involved, you know, she would stab them, strangle them. And even there was some reports of some weird shit going on with the bodies. You know, I can't call it like an alcoholic. So I wasn't there in Mexico that day, and I never will be, right? But at the end of the day, this is what was going on. And like I said, that can't be condoned on any level. When you're going in there, killing elderly women for no reason, just for no other reason than to rob them and project your mother onto them and take out what your mother did to you. Spencer, that's not our fault. What the? You know what I mean? Hey, what your mom did to you, Matahita, dispensa la tira, man. It happens to a lot of people, Sasuke, that are lawyers and doctors. Oh my, they've changed their lives, man. They've worked through it. Sasuke, go to counseling, right? Don't kill old ladies. They've done different things. But I understand every person is different, man. And you can't, there's no rhyme or reason behind why people do what they do, okay? People could sit here and say, well, she had a rough life. Pobrecita, she had a rough life. Sasuke, so did I. Shit, I got incarcerated at the age of 11 and 12. I was on my own, like Michael McDonald. But I made it happen, okay? I rose up out of the ashes, got up out of the mud, and did what I had to do in a real way. She didn't choose to do that. She chose to go a different route, do crime, and literally kill old ladies, okay? And like I said, it's a very big case in Mexico. Look it up. It's like, Google, right? Alexa, tell me about Matavitas. Sorry, the weather today is you know what I mean? you got to ask a few times. You know, Alexa be fucking shit up. But at the same time, handle your business, do your research, and trip out on the story. You know, this woman did go through a lot of shit. Maybe a little bit more than others. But at the end of the day, man, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is she made victims out of people that did not deserve it. Now, you got to understand, these women had lived their lives. They were very old, but they still had more life to live. I, myself, have a grandmother right now. If anyone even looked in her direction, they farted and she smelt it and it smelt bad. So I was scared. I'm feeling some type of way in a vicious motherfucking fashion, right? So I understand all these old viejitas have familia that feel a certain way towards this lady. You know, and for this lady to not have no remorse, chale, period. You know, she's had several of the family members come visit her and say, you know, why'd you pick her? Why'd you do this? And there's never no rhyme or reason. There's never no, Sasuke, she can't tell you, hey, it was cold that night. That's why I picked her. And nah, she's seen a victim. She's seen an old lady, Sasuke. She went in and, you know, she wanted to steal the house slippers and the fucking olla that the lady had. That's it, period. So it wasn't like she was actually stalking these victims. They were all just by chance, by random. She's seen an old lady, so she went in. You know what I mean? So there it is. I got it. I'm on it. But they've actually went and visited this woman, you know, Juana Barraza, and talked with her, and emotionless, pure tendencies and pure no compassion, straight, purely and merely a fucking psychotic psychopath. That's what they are. They don't care about you or me or the familias or the victims or what they done. She's like, can we get this over with? I'm trying to go to the yarda and kick it. Hey, are we going to have chicken tonight? You know what I mean? Are we going to have mole? This is all she's worried about. Herself. Most of these people that only worry about themselves and worry about immediately what's going on right there around them, a lot of people will say they're selfish and what their mind state, they only care about this. Absolutely. They're psychopaths, man. Anything that they do or done to people is of no consequences. It happened. It's done. We can't bring it back. Bye-bye. Hasta luego. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. And at the end of the day, motherfuckers are like, fuck, this hyena was crazy. Yes, indubitably she was crazy, you know? For what she did and how she did it, she was crazy. And for the life and the way that things that she had to go through were crazy too. And it all stems back from her mother. You know, her mother never gave her a chance at life, really, trading her for pistol, letting men sleep with their daughter, you know, for certain things. Her mom was sick in the fucking mind, you know what I mean? She should have choked that bitch out, right? But I'm just saying though, right? Anyways, with that being said, man, I hope that you go out there and that you move fast with a purpose, man. Look out for the elderly around you. Look out for your jefita. Look out for your grandmother, man. Look out for your people, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And there's people that are creeping through the bushes, man. Watch those motherfuckers. If you see a hyena with that mask talking about she's the woman of silence, choke them better out. I'm just saying. Anyways, I hope that you like this video. If you don't, man, it's okay. It's okay to hit that thumbs down. Heavy as the head that wears the crown, man. But if you like it, hit that thumbs up, man. Like and subscribe. You know what it is. It's the gun. Bang, bang. I'm bringing you a little bit something different daily. It is what it is, man. Get with the program or get done by the program. I don't know. I can't call it the gun. It's number love, gente. Bang, bang.